I try to keep her on a short leash. I try to calm her down. I try to ram her into the ground. Yeah. This is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dark. We had a whole lot of matches, about 14 of them. It is episode 68. It took place on the 29th of December 2020, recorded well before the unfortunate passing of Brody Lee. So a few things on this show are a little wonky. I don't really blame them for most of that, though there are a couple things that, man, someone really should have edited that. And, yeah, and the show was 2 hours and 5 minutes long, jumping Jesus on a pogo stick. Taz and Excalibur are the commentators. Rey Fenix is taking on very fucking Morales, right from the jump. I'm just letting you know, Very Morales is our freaking talent of the week, our enhancement talent of the week, right from the jump. Shawn Dean was great as usual. I'm going to talk about that. But Very Morales really being able to keep up with Rey Fenix, making sure Rey Fenix looked fucking phenomenal for his title match against Kenny Omega. Just a great look. That Kinnikuman Buster thing was fucking balls out crazy. Very Morales' offense looked wonderful. He hit all his spots. Rey Fenix is not the easiest guy to wrestle, but clearly Rey Fenix went out of his way to make sure Very Morales looked good, and likewise 10 times over. Great job. 3 check marks. Wow. I've blown away. I think it's probably the best opening match they've ever had on Dark out of 68 episodes, and I would fucking know. Really, really great. Next match, and 3 check marks, of course. For those who are listening for the first time, I do a 3 check mark system for these enhancement matches, of which all of these were enhancement matches except for AKA jobber matches where one person is clearly supposed to win over the other. Only one of these matches was not that. And that's still graded on a 3 checkmark system. But the 3 checkmark system for most Dark matches go as follows. 1 checkmark if the correct person is put over in a way that is memorable. Meaning we establish a finisher. We see them, we can remember things about the person who's winning. That's the point of these matches after all. A 2nd checkmark if that person who's being enhanced is made to look good, right? Did Very Morales make Rey Fenix look great? Abso-fucking-lutely. So that's a 2nd check mark. And then a 3rd check mark if the person who is doing the enhancing and losing and jobbing looks good in the process, either because the person they're wrestling has allowed them to look good by giving them a significant amount of offense, or if they do such a fucking good job in defeat that I just give them that 3rd check mark. Definitely all 3 check marks qualify. Very Morales, you should be fucking proud of your fucking self. If nothing else, I'm sure you have ensured more fucking appearances on Dark. Just a fucking home run. Holy crap. I can think of very few instances where somebody came on the scene and fucking really blew us away. The Bear Country guys really had a great first appearance, but a not so great second appearance, and I see that they're not here this time. Shawn Dean has done a fucking great... I mean, his first appearance when he hit that fucking tope over the top rope was spectacular. He was the first guy to get a replay as an enhancement talent. And Danny Jordan definitely made the right impressions when she first got in. As did Anna Jay. But fucking Very Morales. Woo, child. Really great stuff. Lindsay Snow against Penelope Ford. This is 3 check marks. Penelope Ford is now using the springboard cutter, which is a better finisher. But again, it's always sort of wonkily executed. But pretty good here. Lindsay Snow with a much better showing than she's had lately. I'm looking forward to seeing Lindsay Snow on the 9th when she's part of the ICW show in Port Richey, Florida. Third match, John Silver and Alex Reynolds against Shawn Dean and Tyson Maddox. Tyson Maddox, big buff dude, but man, he moves very stiffly. He's obviously green as motherfucking freshly mowed grass, and that's okay. That's what AEW Dark is for. And they put him there with Shawn Dean, who's definitely able to make most of this match flow. Though Tyson Maddox takes the pin, which tells us a lot about what they think about Shawn Dean. They didn't want him to take the pin. That crisp series of moves that John Silver and Alex Reynolds do for a finisher, ending in a German and then the jackknife cover, has never looked better here. That's 3 check marks. Anna Jay in our next match against Jasmine Allure. Jasmine Allure, great fucking babyface fire. Really, really good. And Anna Jay is getting more and more confident, and it's showing in her ring work. 3 check marks for this match. I also like that she came out here with Tay Conti, but then Tay Conti went to the back. Small, subtle storytelling things, right? Now we have the waiting room with Matt Sydal, which again, in light of the death of Brody Lee and the fact that this Wednesday is now a show dedicated to Brody Lee and they've scrapped everything, this whole thing came off as kind of weird, which is nobody's fault. Yeah, it's not. Oof. The jokes from Britt Baker about the debut being slick and all these jokes about Matt Sydal falling down was great. Sydal marking up Cody on the poster was kind of a weird thing, but I guess they're going for a slightly heel element for Matt Sydal. This was the least interesting waiting room that we've had, especially in light of the fact that this match is not happening. Also giving away the fact that Matt Sydal was going to win his match later, while not the biggest a deal because it's an enhancement match, is also really weird and kind of showed that these things are not recorded in order of how they're placed and presented on the show, which again, is that the biggest deal in the world, Steve? Not necessarily, but I think the less you can tip your hand about the fact that these things are taped, the better. I just think that's a good rule in general. On SmackDown's show, which is the highest one that they've ever gotten for this year, where they opened with the cage match and they ended with Big E winning the Intercontinental title. That was a pre-taped show, but they certainly didn't keep tipping their hand about it, which is smart, because when they used to tip their hand about, you know, this is a show that's already been taped and all this kind of stuff, they suffered ratings-wise for it, and people looked for spoilers and things like that. I just think it's just a bad habit for the editors and producers as well. I don't think you want to get into the habit of tipping your hand that things are pre-taped as much as possible. Okay, that's enough ranting. Next match, Ryzen, Nick Komoroto and James Tapia against Team Taz. One of my favorite matches on this Dark. They gave the guys their spots, the enhancement guys their spots, but definitely looked strong. I think the new way that Brian Cage is going into the drill claw is safer and works better. And letting Hook on the outside get a clothesline on somebody was a really good, subtle move. I really liked it. Team Taz won, 3 check marks. Good job all around. Ryzen always delivers the goods as an enhancement talent, always. We had a Young Bucks book ad, one of a few. And you could argue, oh my God, the product placement of the Young Bucks book in Leva Bates' match, my lord. Peter Avalon joins us for commentary, provides a little levity in a nice way, which is, you know, this whole idea of he's going to have this pretty Peter, this invitational thing, and it's only for symmetrical, good-looking people. Again, a nice break. I'm glad he wasn't there for more than one match to do this kind of shit, but it's always a nice break. Fuego de Sol against Griff Garrison. They love some Fuego de Sol, motherfuckers. Griff Garrison looks phenomenal. The fucking triple tilt-a-whirl backbreakers thing that he did is something he should definitely add when going against smaller people. That rolling forearm finish is really, really good. And then Griff Garrison rejecting Peter Avalon's invite is a nice little piece of like dark level business that they can go to later on. Really liked it. Griff Garrison cannot win Enhancement Talent of the Week because he is not Enhancement Talent this week. This match, however, gets 3 check marks. Santana and Ortiz against Terrence and Terrell Hughes, Devon Dudley's kids. Boy, Santana and Ortiz, they're really good at giving guys a lot. I mean, they even took the 3D, which I thought was a nice moment where they had to break up that pin off of the 3D. And then the powerbomb roll-through kick thing is an interesting finisher and one that I think that they can use practically in the course of all the things they have to do being part of the inner circle. We had a little bit of the bubbly commercial, which was nicely timed after a Santana and Ortiz match. Shush. We had our next match, Aaron Solo versus Sammy Guevara. Sammy gives too much in these matches, but I've talked about that before. But he certainly looks great, and then defeats Aaron Solo with his version of a kind of a go-to sleep. And then he cuts a promo, which is nice. I think they should do that at least 2 or 3 times during Dark. Just let the guys cut loose on the mic. Try stuff out. 3 check marks. So far, is this 3 check marks all night long? Oh, it sure is. Let's see if we can have our 3rd clean sweep for Dark. Chaos Project against Ariel, Levy and Cueva de Puerto Rico. The Chaos Project win with their finisher. I forget what it's called, but basically Luther lifts them up, and then Serpentico brings them down. A lot of funny interplay about the using Serpentico as a weapon, Serpentico not wanting it at some point and trying to whip Luther in as a weapon, but Luther reversing. Chaos Projects serve a very definitive purpose, which is they tend to win on Dark, and then they tend to lose to teams placed in a larger position. And you got to have those kind of teams, and they certainly serve the purpose here. They're the Iron Mike Sharp, if you will, from back in the day when Iron Mike Sharp would win once in a while against other enhancement guys, but then lose to just about everybody else. It seems like it's not an important thing. It is. Leva Bates against Maddie Renkowski, the most Polish name that we have seen on AEW Dark. Leva Bates, Maddie Renkowski has an Ariana Grande kind of look. They do some interplay with the Bucks book where she's tearing out pages, and Leva Bates is mad about that. The match ends with Leva Bates super kicking the book into her face and then winning with a small package. At least there wasn't two good things. There wasn't Leva Bates making up with the person that she just wrestled, which I fucking despise, because they had the thing about the book. So that was good. And the small package at least looked good. But is this how Leva Bates is going to win her matches? With roll-ups? Because I fucking hate it. Can't we just establish a finisher for her that looks like fucking great? So we can see her possibly beating or being competition for a woman who's placed higher on the card. I'm going to give this one... Maddie actually did good interplay here. I'll go ahead and give it 3 check marks with a bit of an asterisk. Well, no, I got to give it 2 check marks because it doesn't get the 2nd check mark because Leva Bates does not look authoritative and powerful in the midst of these matches, which is the point of them. And I know you're like, well, it's a difference and it makes a difference. Their women's division can't afford to have a Leva Bates, honestly. She needs to step up. So that way, if she wrestles a TakeNote, or, God forbid, a Hikaru Shida or a Britt Baker, that we know that we're in for more than just a lighthearted, superficial comedy match. Because Leva Bates can do a good match. And I think it behooves her, especially in a league like AEW, to do so. Okay. Whoa. A lot of ranting there. Danny Limelight versus Matt Sydal against the foregone conclusion match, since he already said... on Britt Baker's show that he had beaten Danny Limelight. Matt Sydal wins with a crucifix pin, gives a lot of stuff to Danny Limelight, who's always looked pretty good in these things. But it's a match that is infinitely forgettable. And Matt Sydal, I think, has slipped into that mode of Yeah, really good match. I don't really care. And I get that he's not going to do the shooting star press stuff or bust it out at a later date. But I really don't see the point of what's going on right now. I'm just being honest. Though it was expertly done, and I'll give it 3 check marks. Take Conti versus Vert Vixen. Man, Tay Conti looks great here. I mean, just for as far as physical attractiveness, appearance stuff, she's really got it going on, and she's really playing with the crowd. Her and her opponent looked really good in the ring together. That TCO that she hit, that Gory Guerrero special kind of thing into the knee, looks really good. It's very AEW. I'm interested to see Tay Conti mix it up with people other than jobbers, but for now, shit, give her the wins. And since they've made a conscious effort to put more women's matches on Dark, it has improved the overall quality and feel of the show, which is encouraging. Vert Vixen did a really great job here. I'm going to give this 3 check marks. Another ad for the Young Bucks book, so now that's 2 ads plus a blatantly long product placement in the Leva Bates match, which is great. You should read the fucking Young Bucks book if you haven't read it. Come on now. Royal Money, Baron Black, and Mike Verna versus Gun Club. Typical Gun Club match. Billy directs traffic very well. And lately, they've been having Austin take a little bit of a back seat to Colton. And Colt hits his Colt 45, which is a double underhook neck breaker, which I like much better than the quick draw. So we get a match here. It wins. Baron Black has really come on lately, and he sort of takes the lion's share of making sure his team looks good in defeat. 3 check marks. And then finally, our main event. For matches that are equal, you get 3 check marks for this. First check mark if both participants look good. A second check mark if the finish is something memorable and discernible. And then a third check mark if something is advanced for Dynamite. There has to be some kind of gimmick or some aspect of a character or whatever that is enhanced. This match certainly fit the bill. Really good match. This idea that SCU has to split up if they ever lose is good. That flip into the Gutbuster thing, really exciting, really interesting. And then the Acclaimed attack them, and then the Young Bucks make the save. All of this, I mean, will it lead to stuff on Dynamite eventually? Obviously. SCU looked really great. Hybrid 2 looked really great. Phenomenal job. 3 check marks. A worthy main event for Dark. Yeah. So good one, and congratulations to Very Morales, and honorable mention to Shawn Dean for Enhancement Talent of the Week. This has been Platinum versus AEW Dark.